Well, the Vice President of the international chemical giant Monsanto has defended the use of its herbicides. It comes after a US jury awarded more than 300 million Australian dollars in damages to a man with terminal cancer who claimed the company's Roundup weed killer caused his illness.
Well, the man's lawyer says the landmark case could be a catalyst for similar lawsuits. Vice President of Monsanto, Scott Partridge, spoke to us on the phone from Quebec in Canada and has offered Australians reassurance over their company's products.
I had cancer in my family, and I know what it can do. It's terrible. But you asked about the reaction to the decision. While Mr. Johnson is looking for answers, and that's obviously completely understandable, the decision yesterday from the jury in San Francisco, it doesn't change the science. Glyphosate, the active ingredient in our product, our brand Roundup, it's been used extensively throughout the globe for over 4 decades. It is the most widely used herbicide in the world. It is the most widely studied herbicide in the world. It has been, over those 40-plus years, it has been the subject of over 800 scientific, medical, peer-reviewed, published studies, not a single one of which has ever associated glyphosate with cancer. It has been examined and registered in the United States by the Environmental Protection Agency over and over again throughout those 4+ decades, as well as in Europe by ECHA and EFSA. In your country, it has been reviewed extensively. Japan, New Zealand, Germany, South Korea, Canada, I'm all over the globe. Every single regulatory body that has examined glyphosate has found it to be safe and not carcinogen.
Well, Sorry, I was just going to say that you say that glyphosate is safe for use and does not cause cancer when used according to the label. At what level of exposure to humans does it become unsafe?
There actually is no reasonable level of exposure will cause cancer, and that's demonstrated, I think, most thoroughly in a real-world environment by the agricultural health study that was conducted in America, sponsored by the United States government, and it was conducted by the National Institute of Health, and it spanned a 20-year period from 1995 forward, and it tracked over 50,000 agricultural workers and their spouses, individuals who used glyphosate in their agricultural practices, their farming practices, on a routine basis. They're the most exposed population of people in the world, farmers are. And the conclusions of the agricultural health study, the NIH found that there was no association whatsoever in this real world. It's called an epidemiological study, real-world study. So it is safe. It's safe even when used by the most exposed population. Andrew.
So the jury found that Monsanto should have warned users about the dangers of its Roundup and Ranger Pro weed killers. Will you be reviewing your warnings at all in the wake of this?
The warnings are completely appropriate. They're entirely accurate, and they're adequate. To warn of a risk that does not exist makes no sense and would only serve to confuse and scare people unnecessarily. The warnings are absolutely appropriate. They have been reviewed over and over again throughout the entire globe by every regulatory agency and found to be appropriate. So glyphosate does not cause cancer.
So you can reassure Australians who use your product containing glyphosate that it's perfectly safe?
Absolutely. It's perfectly safe. I've used it for my entire life. I currently use it. My family uses it. I have friends and obviously customers who use it. It's the most widely used herbicide. It transformed agriculture. It is one of the most widely used homeowners weed killer to handle tough weeds and grasses that pop up in your driveway or in the garden bed. It is completely and totally safe. It has been for over 4 decades, and it will be for another 4 decades.
Some comparisons have been made between glyphosate and tobacco. Do you feel as though that is completely unfair, in that obviously we've seen now how tobacco is treated? It is regarded as carcinogenic and does cause cancer, despite the fact that there is still some doubt about the causal effect of tobacco with cancer.
Yeah, it's a completely inappropriate and inaccurate comparison. It's one that the plaintiff's lawyers at the trial used to inflame the jury. They were admonished by the judge it was improper, and that sort of conduct, which may well have inflamed the jury, will be looked at very carefully during requests for a new trial and during appeal. There were multiple occasions when plaintiffs' lawyers did things that were designed to inflame the jury. That was a trial tactic they used because the medicine was not on their side. So they wished to make the trial more about Monsanto's reputation and about things that they can make the jury worry about than it was about the science.
So, Scott Partridge, you say you will appeal. Nonetheless, do you feel as though damage has been done now to the reputation of Monsanto and specifically with this product?
Yeah, here's the damage that's being done, Andrew, and this is what I worry about. We do what we can to help innovate in agriculture, to provide new solutions, to help growers, farmers around the world produce more yield using less stuff to farm in a more sustainable fashion. Glyphosate created no-till farming. It created conservation tillage. It reduced greenhouse gases and the use of equipment across farms. And it is a valuable tool that has demonstrated its safety as well as its efficiency in increasing yields. And here's what worries me, Andrew. At this time, when we are looking at the population of this world reaching by 2050 10 billion people, putting 2 more Chinas on this planet, and yield has to be increased 60% to feed that population in our children's lifetime. And we don't have any more arable land. Water will be in scarcer supply, so we need new tools in the hands of farmers. And so now is not the time to put at risk the reputation of one of the most valuable tools that farmers have, the completely safe product, glyphosate. And, we're lucky, Andrew. We live in countries where food is abundant, but 1 in 4 children goes to bed hungry at night, and 2 million children die of malnutrition. This tool needs to stay in the hands of growers around the world, and they need to know that they can have confidence that it's safe. That's what this is all about. That's what worries me.